Hey guys, welcome back to another video from Wentworth Life, the channel that talks all things Wentworth. If you're new to the channel, then hit that subscribe button for all future updates. All my social media links are underneath this video if you do wish to connect with me. Also, our Wentworth mugs are now on sale, so I will also leave a link to the mugs underneath this video if it's something that you'd like to buy. Okay guys, well, the end is upon us now. Only 2 episodes left for our favourite TV show. It only feels like yesterday when we were all moaning about the new season beginning. At one moment we thought it was going to be starting in May, then June, then July, then we were all getting really worried, but look at us now, we are now at this stage. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you some of my predictions and theories on these final 2 episodes, on each character, and how I think this season could come to a close. What makes this video quite sad for me personally is that this is probably going to be the final ever predictions video, unless of course the show does come back in a couple of years, but as it stands, this really is the end for now. So I'm going to kick this off with Mari Winter. I have really warmed to Mari. I know she's made stupid decisions, and she was responsible for creating that monster in Sheila who ended up killing Reb, but there's just something about Mari that I like. I mean, Mari just could have been killed off at the end of season 7 during the siege episodes, but rather than just kill Mari off, the writers have turned Mari full circle. However, I do now feel that Mari's time is up, and I am going to stick with my original prediction that Mari will end up on death's list this year. For some reason, I feel she might die in episode 9, just before the final episode. There is a reason why the writers stuck Mari in the slot for most of episode 8, and that is because her death is looming closer and closer. But of course, Mari's storyline plays a bigger part in the Rita being revealed as a cop thing. But now that has all come out, Mari's final moments are all coming. I really don't want Mari to die, but I feel she will. So how do I think she's going to die? Well, would it be too obvious if it was Luke Kelly that killed Mari? I mean, in a twist, could it be Joan who kills Mari? I mean, Mari, she was responsible for Joan getting her hand burned, so you never know. I definitely think Mari could die saving someone. It will either be Mr. Jackson or Ruby Mitchell. In fact, I did predict a long time ago about how ironic it would be if Mari died protecting Ruby, the woman who killed her son. And now let's move on to Ruby, who is now in a relationship with Zaina. So I have a feeling that Zaina might die in the explosion. I just feel that there's going to be a lot of deaths during this explosion, and Zaina's going to be one of them. And as for Ruby, well, if my prediction comes true of Mari being killed protecting Ruby, then I think Ruby will make it to the final episode, but will she make it out alive? Her and Rita are both looking at very long sentences now, so what could the writers possibly do for Ruby's character? Will Ruby be killed off in order to unleash Rita? I mean, I used to think that that was probably going to happen. However, if the writers are going to do this, then I wish that they'd done it earlier in the season. I would have loved to have seen Rita go through the grief of losing her sister and then becoming this badass top dog. But with only 2 episodes left, I have a feeling it could be too late for this kind of storyline to happen. If Zaina does die in the explosion and maybe Ruby finds her body, maybe Ruby will go on the warpath and go looking for Lou, and then they will have a fight, but Lou will kill Ruby just as Rita catches her, and this will then lead on to Rita and Lou having a final battle. And this moves me on to Rita Connors. So I absolutely love Rita. I was so excited when the news came out that the writers were bringing in the character of Rita Connors, because Rita was also my favourite character in Prisoner Cell Block H. Now, we've all seen photos of Lou and Rita standing at the bottom of a fence at night time, so it's inevitable that these two are going to be having some sort of a showdown outside in the grounds during the nighttime scenes. We've also seen in the trailers of Lou and Rita having a fight in the unit, so we've got a few fight scenes coming up with Rita, which I'm really excited for. I definitely think Rita will save a lot of the women during this explosion, and she will also be the one to take Lou down during the final escape moments. And hopefully this will then bring the women onto Rita's side, and Rita will be the final top dog in Wentworth. If this does happen, I'm just gutted that we didn't get to see Rita be top dog for this final season. I feel something similar was supposed to happen in season 7. I felt that Rita was going to be Wentworth's final top dog right at the end of season 7, but storylines were changed last minute after Wentworth was renewed for 2 final seasons, so they changed all the endings and the storylines. I'm still holding out for a Rita versus Joan Ferguson fight, but once again, I don't think I've seen Rita and Joan interact at all this season. So I think the only way Rita and Joan could come to blows is if Rita saves Vera or maybe even Mr. Jackson from Joan during some sort of showdown scene. I mean, a lot of things are happening every week in every episode and they are jam-packed, so nothing is impossible. Lou Kelly. Now, I feel Lou has been a fantastic addition to Wentworth. It's just a crying shame that she wasn't introduced into the show a lot sooner. Imagine what Lou Kelly would have been like during the season 7 Siege episodes. Anyway, as we all know, Lou has this big bomb on its way to Wentworth, and it's a very big bomb. A bomb that's going to destroy the prison and kill a lot of people. Now, I feel like the writers have made Lou Kelly badder and badder as the season has been going on, and they are setting things up for Lou to be taken down in the final episode, and it's probably going to be done in spectacular fashion. As I've just said, Lou is going to be involved in at least 2 fight scenes with Rita Connors, but will there be any other fight scenes that Lou will get involved in? Well, I definitely think that Lou is a strong contender of being the person who may kill Mari. I also think Lou is going to kill Judy Bryant after the explosion has gone off. Lou is just using Judy for this bomb plot, and when the time is right, Lou is going to murder Judy after Judy stole Reb's money. Lou is not going to let Judy get away with that. I mean, if Lou wants to blow up the prison to kill off staff members and senior members who didn't have anything to do with Reb's death, then Lou is definitely taking Judy down with them. I have been asked quite a few times now whether if I personally think Lou will survive this final episode, and I honestly feel like she will survive. She will be one of the few villain-style characters who I think will survive the explosion and all the fight scenes. Lou is just too good of a character, and let's just say that the show does get renewed and returns in a couple of years' time. The writers will definitely want Kate Box back, because I know the writers have left a few storylines open, and they've done this for the just-in-case scenario, and for this very reason, I think Lou Kelly will survive. I do think she will take a huge beating from Rita, don't get me wrong, but you know that photo where Lou is being taken away by police? I think this will be Lou's final scene, so Lou will survive. Okay, well, I don't really want to talk about this character, but I suppose I have to. Okay, so Judy Bryant, a character who I despise, but the actress who plays Judy has done an amazing job for making us all hate the Judy Bryant character. So Judy thinks she's going to be escaping in this final episode, but of course the bomb that she's ordered is a lot bigger than she's expecting. The only ending that I can see for Judy is death. She will 100% die in the final episode, and it will either be because of the explosion or Lou will kill Judy after the explosion in all of the chaos. There might even be a slim chance that Anne Reynolds and Judy are together when the bomb goes off, and maybe Anne will take the opportunity in all of the chaos to kill Judy, and she will make it look like that it was the explosion that killed her. And this brings me on to Anne Reynolds, so I am very intrigued intrigued on where the writers are taking Anne for the final 2 episodes. I mean, in episode 8 recently, Anne was starting to lose it, and I mean really lose it, and it was heavily implied that she's got some sort of, I don't know, personality disorder or mental illness, but I definitely feel that Anne is going to go more and more crazy, and after the bomb goes off, this will just send her over the edge. Now, I did predict ages ago that maybe Judy was part of the same terrorist team who killed Anne's daughter in the terrorist attack in the UK, and I'm going to stand by this prediction. I definitely think it's all going to come out in the final episode. I really want to see Anne and Judy have a fight, like a real fight. Not a fight where someone's got a baton or someone's tied up or someone's been spitbagged. I mean a real fight. And then maybe Anne and Judy will kill each other. Who knows? But I am intrigued on how Anne's storyline is going to end. I think there's a 50% chance that Anne will die in the final episode. Okay, Boomer. Now, Boomer is pregnant, and all that I want is a safe and happy ending for Boomer and Bump. If Boomer and her baby don't survive this explosion, I will be devastated. It will destroy me. It really will. I won't be able to cope. If there is just one character who deserves a happy ending, it has to be Boomer. Now, I'm really happy that Boomer is pregnant, but at the same time, it's a shame that we are not going to see Boomer's pregnancy journey or see Boomer as a mum. I am actually quite gutted about this because this is definitely going to be the making for Boomer's character. Jake the Snake Stewart. Okay, so Jake was almost killed earlier on this season. Joan wanted him dead and she used Eve Wilder to try and do it. Unfortunately, the plan failed, but will Joan carry out Jake's death herself in the final episode? I definitely feel that Joan is going to go full revenge in the final episode, and it wouldn't surprise me if Jake is on Joan's final hit list. I used to hate Jake Stewart back in his early seasons, but he has grown on me over the last couple of years. He still makes stupid decisions, don't get me wrong, but he isn't a total villain anymore. He's done some really kind things for the prisoners. I mean, remember when he did the tango with Liz? So Jake isn't a bad person, and I also love his scenes when he has scenes with baby Grace. But Jake is capable of murder, and he will do anything to protect baby Grace and Vera. Now, last week in episode 8, there was a scene where Will and Vera agreed to not tell Jake about the photo that was sent to the printer. Now, could this be foreshadowing that Jake is going to lose it with Joan after everything that she's done? And are they in for a big showdown? Personally, I don't think Jake stands a chance against Ferguson, but it would be very entertaining to watch. So I am 50-50 about Jake dying by the end of this season. I mean, staff members are going to be killed as well as prisoners, and so far it's just been prisoners who've been killed off. So I think the writers are saving these ones for the final. Moving on to Dr. Miller, because I definitely think he could be one of the few staff members killed off in the final episode. Maybe even in episode 9. I mean, we know that episode 9 features Joan's trial, so if things go wrong for Joan, then Joan might flip out and kill Dr. Miller for failing to help her get out of prison in a fit of rage. If Dr. Miller isn't killed by Joan, then he'll probably be killed in the explosion, and if he doesn't get killed in the explosion, then the only other ending I see for his character is to be sacked from Wentworth after Joan's trial. But let's face it, the writers want this final episode to be huge, as well as the body count, so if you have a choice of how Dr. Miller should depart Wentworth, I'd stick him right in the middle of the explosion. Mr. Jackson. Oh, I absolutely love Mr. Jackson, one of the few staff members who really cares about the women. Now, I have an awful feeling that Mr. Jackson could be killed off, protecting the women somehow. Maybe he will save one of the women from the rubble, only for part of the building to fall on top of him and crush him to death. I mean, if something like that did happen, I would be devastated, but it would stay true to his character, and I can definitely see something like this happening. However, if the writers want to go down the line of a final battle between Will and Joan, then things could end very differently. Joan has it in for Will, she has done from the very start, and it would feel very fitting if Joan's final battle was with Mr. Jackson. Now, Will Jackson, he hasn't been involved in many of the spectacular storylines in recent years, and that's mainly because he has been playing the governor role. So I feel the writers could have something very special planned for his character in this final episode. I do feel that Will is high up on death's list. I mean, there's no point just killing off all the villains. ones, or the people who we don't really care about. There has to be at least one shock death that's going to devastate us, and I reckon Will Jackson is a strong contender for this. Okay, moving on to Ali. So we've seen photos of Ali in her wheelchair among the rubble after the explosion has gone off, and it looks like that she is alone and she is trapped. She can't move her chair because of all the bricks around her. So Ali is going to have to get out of her chair like she did in the shower block scene with Judy, and she's going to have to crawl through the mess and the rubble and try and get help. But I think parts of the building is going to cave in and Ali is going to get hurt and trapped under the rubble. Again, this is pretty much an easy guess because this is kind of what's implied in some of these spoiler photos. But the big question is, will Ali get found in time, or is this going to be the end of Ali? Now, if Ali does die, I will be devastated and sad, but at the same time, Ali will be back with her one true love, B. Smith. So I can kind of cope with this. And talking of B, if Ali does die, I want to see a B. Smith appearance. I will not be happy if this does not happen because we've been getting little Easter eggs through the whole season of Ali looking up into the sky and carrying around B's red blanket, so this just has to happen. It would also be a really nice touch just to give us a B appearance for the final ever episode because this is how the show began, because of B. Smith. Now I'm 50-50 on Ali making it out alive. I've seen a few theories of people saying how amazing would it be if Ali somehow gets some strength back in her legs while her life is on the line. I would absolutely love that, but I don't know how possible that could actually happen, but stranger things have happened. Linda Miles. Oh, guys, I'm really disappointed with Linda at the moment. I don't like what the writers have done to her character this year. They have turned Linda into a villain using her PTSD, and I'm not okay with this. I understood it last year, but I think it was about episode 7 or episode 8, Linda was told that she had to go and see Dr. Miller for counselling. I thought we were going to get some sort of resolution ready for this year's final chapter, but instead, the writers have completely ruined Linda's character for me. I just hope to God that somewhere in these last 2 episodes, the writers redeem her character in some way. If you remember back in season 7, episode 9, the episode ends with Sean Brody holding the women hostage in the laundry, and when Mr. Jackson refuses to cooperate with Mr. Brody, he decides to shoot someone, and at one point he's pointing the gun at Linda Miles' head, and I can remember screaming at my TV screen when this was happening. I was like, no, don't you dare kill off Linda Miles. Now, fast forward 2 years later, I actually don't care if Linda is killed off or not in this explosion. That's how badly treated Linda's character has been handled this year, in my opinion. But like I said, I really do hope there is some sort of redemption and resolution in these final 2 episodes. I'm willing to keep an open mind. Okay, Vera and Joan Ferguson. I've saved these 2 characters for my final character predictions because I think these 2 are going to play some of the biggest parts of these 2 episodes. It's been building all the way from season 8 part 1. Vera has been crossing the line on many occasions now, and Joan is back to her old self and came very close to killing Vera in last week's episode. So it's all going to come to a head in the final. Vera and Joan are going to find themselves in the middle of this explosion. So, will Vera shock us all and take this opportunity to kill Joan Ferguson once and for all, making it look like it was the bomb that killed her? Or will there be another twist? Will Joan save Vera from the explosion? Maybe Joan will be the person who brings out a very badly hurt Vera out of the prison, shocking everyone. I can see it now, I can picture it. Joan drags and carries Vera out of the building, and outside we see Jake, Boomer, and some of the women looking completely shocked that Joan has just saved Vera Bennett. Will Joan finally get redemption if this happens? I do feel that however Joan's character ends this year, it's not going to please everyone. Joan is literally the most complex yet fascinating character I have ever seen on any TV show, and it's more or less impossible to guess on how his storyline is going to end. It really is. If the writers go down the redemption route, then there will be fans out there who will be pissed off that Joan didn't get her comeuppance after killing B. Smith. However, if Joan does get her just desserts and does die a horrible death, then there will be fans on the other side who will be pissed off because they absolutely love Joan Ferguson. So whichever way Joan's storyline ends, it's not going to please everyone. I can just picture Twitter going crazy in my head right now. For me personally, I've enjoyed having Joan back for the final 2 seasons. At first, when they brought her back in the season 7 final, I was like, no, don't bring her back, we're done with her storyline now. But I will be honest, her storyline has been great and we've had some classic Joan Ferguson moments. And if the writers are leaving certain storylines open, then I reckon Joan could survive this final episode. If there is that very slim chance that the show could return one day, they won't kill off Joan. They did it once and they had to think of one hell of a storyline to bring her back. They won't be able to do that for a second time. So I have a feeling that just for that in case scenario again, Joan will probably survive the ending. I just don't know how it's going to pan out. As for Vera, I really hope Vera lives. I don't want Vera to die, but I am very worried that the writers could kill Vera off for shock value. Like I said about Mr. Jackson earlier, someone unexpected will probably die to devastate us all and to make this final episode unforgettable. I just really hope it's not Vera. So that's all my character predictions complete. Now, do I think there will be any old characters making an appearance in the final episode? Well, as much as I would love to see 1 or 2 old faces pop up, I can't see it happening, guys. There just isn't enough time with all these crazy storylines going on. In my opinion, the only way an old character could make an appearance is if we get a time jump after the explosion in the final few moments. For example, the explosion happens, we see who survives and we see who dies. Then the screen fades to black and then there is a time jump to 1 year later. Boomer is in the visitor's room holding her new baby girl, and Boomer has called her baby girl Liz. Then in walks Frankie and Bridget, who have come to visit Boomer and baby Liz. How lovely would that be, guys? I literally think that would just be one of the perfect endings for me. But this is the only way that I feel any old characters could make an appearance if they do some sort of time jump. I really hope we get something like this, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now, with this bomb going off in the final episode, I predict chaos. Total chaos. I'm predicting a lot of twists. I'm also predicting that there will be murders taking place of the prison after the explosion. Michelle made a great prediction that what if a character ends up stuck in the lift when the bomb goes off, which I absolutely love this idea. Imagine if Vera and Joan are in this lift and they're stuck in there together, or Anne and Judy. It would be absolutely epic. I'm thinking that maybe one character will successfully escape, but everyone will think this character has died in the explosion. This could be Boomer. Maybe Boomer will see her chance to escape to go and start a new life with her baby, but everyone will think Boomer has died. This would be heartbreaking for our favorite characters because they will think Boomer's dead, but it would be amazing for our Boomer. And I mean, Boomer, she could send Ali a little postcard in, like, you know, she can write it in code, which would then let Ali and the H1 girls know that Boomer is safe and well. But it could also be Joan who does this. Maybe Joan will escape and everyone will think that Joan has been killed in the explosion. That would be a great way to leave Joan's storyline open and for it to be left to our imaginations. The possibilities are endless and I know we are in for a very rough ride. I am so excited to see how everything pans out, but I'm also dreading the series ending. I am holding out for that possibility that the show could return at a new filming location at some point. I mean, it would be a total shame not to. I mean, a long break could be what the show needs right now in order for the writers to think up the next chapter of Wentworth, and then there could even be a time jump if Wentworth did return, where we have some new characters with a mix of our old ones. We can only pray and hope. So guys, what did do you think of my final ever predictions? Let me know. If you are one of the lucky people who have watched episode 9 and episode 10 in Germany, then please guys, don't spoil it for the rest of us. In the comments box below, please be respectful of spoilers and don't ruin it for the rest of us. But guys, let me know all of your thoughts in the comments box below. And on that note, let's jump into some comment replies. So we got Jumpin' Jack Flash. I think Ferguson might just go out in a blaze of glory saving Vera. Ooh, you could be onto something there. Maybe yes. Maybe Ferguson will save Vera but then die as a result. Interesting, I like that theory. Thank you for your comment. And we got California R. Hey Craig, I love your review videos. It's so sad that they're going to have to come to an end in the next 2 weeks. I can't believe that the show is almost over. I love Wentworth so much and your videos make it even better. Aww, thank you for that amazing lovely comment. I'm glad you enjoy my videos. And it is going to be a very sad day next week when the season comes to an end. But don't worry, this channel ain't going anywhere. Thank you for your comment. And we got Anthony Zimmerman. I love the scenes with Ferguson talking to Will and Vera. The conversations became so casual, and Ferguson didn't even attempt to say she really did have amnesia. Yes, Anthony, this is what I loved about that as well. It was almost like we jumped back to season 4 and season 5. I wanted to see some conversations between Joan and Vera and Joan and Will without her playing the Kath Maxwell card, so I'm really happy with that too. Thank you for your comment. Davey B. Perhaps when Wentworth raps, maybe you should do a recap of your favourite moments from the entire series. Love to you all from New Zealand. Well, Davey B, you must be reading my mind because that's exactly what I've got planned. I'm definitely going to be doing a video looking back at some of the best moments, some of the sad moments, and some of the biggest storylines. So, yeah, you must have been reading my mind, Davey. Thank you for your comment, and thank you to everyone who has taken the time to leave such amazing comments recently. I love every single one of you beautiful people. Okay everyone, well that's everything for today's video. I will be back later this week with the episode 9 review, so make sure that you are subscribed as you will not want to miss it, because as these episodes are getting more and more crazier, so are my reactions. Okay guys, well enjoy tomorrow's episode, have a lovely week with whatever you're doing, stay safe, and I will see you all again very soon.